What's going on, everybody? My name is Drew, and this is my 1978 Vespa Grande. This first video, I just want to give you guys a quick overview of the bike, how it works, and the systems on it, as well as an idea of where I'm going to be taking this project. I'm going to be doing some maintenance, some upgrades, and some restoration work, and I just wanted to give you all a foundation of where this is all starting from. I hope you enjoy. When I bought it, it has 1,487 miles on it, and overall it's in pretty good condition. So on the handlebars here, left hand side you have the rear brake and you have the decompression lever, and this is what you use to start it. On the right hand side you have the front brake as well as the kill and run switch. Moving down, we have the fill cap. It's a 2-stroke. It takes a 50-to-1 ratio of gas to oil, and when you fill it up, what's interesting is that the tube here, the frame of the bike, is the gas tank. And so, because of this part that goes up in the back also fills, as it drains, air can get into this part of the tank. So in order to fill it up properly, here you pull that and you lift the seat up, and there's this release valve right here. So you just twist this, you open that when you fill it, and that lets the air from this part out. On this side, we have the engine drive. So there's a CVT up here, and then it's belt driven to turn the rear wheel. On the opposite side of the bike, there's the sprocket with a chain to drive the rear wheel. And on the left-hand side of the motorcycle, behind this, in front of the rear peg, you have a button, and you push that in until it clicks, and then it disengages the engine drive on this side, so you're only driving by pedal. And then to switch it back, there's a lever all the way in the back here, which you push down, and then that button pops out again. When you flip it up like this, there's a little plastic case, and inside of there was this little metal flask. And I'm not sure what it's full of. It's liquid. It might be gas or fuel for the bike, and I think that's what I'm gonna fill it with, so you can always keep it in here. That's not very much fuel, but the tank itself is only 3/4 of a gallon, and the reserve part is 1/8 of a gallon, and I think that's what that little piece is, probably close to 1/8 of a gallon. That doesn't sound like very much, but when it was brand new, it was rated at 140 miles per gallon. So between fill-ups, this thing can go about 105 miles. There are a few things that I need to do something about right away, and one of the things I'm gonna do today is that I found rust in the gas tank. I originally found it when I had this side piece on over here, and at the bottom of the fuel filter, you can see it looks like there's some rust down there. So I'm really glad that whoever installed this fuel filter, thank you, because that probably saved the engine from getting all clogged up. Inside the fuel tank, you can see that there's some rust in there. So that's the first thing that I'm gonna do to this bike, is clean out the gas tank. I might get to that today. That way the carburetor doesn't get all jammed up, and I can keep running it while I save up money to buy parts for this thing. Speaking of, there are a few things I do know I want to replace. First of all, this rear suspension is in pretty good nick. It is a bit rusted, as are a lot of the metal pieces on this bike, but I'm gonna be riding this a lot with my girlfriend, and so I'm gonna get some springs that you can adjust the tension on. So when just one of us is riding it, then we can go, soften it up, and then if we're both on there, then we can harden it. Another thing I want to upgrade on this is the variator, which I showed you all a second ago, is this piece right here. I'm gonna get a beefier one. Something else is the carburetor, which you can see right in here. I found this one on treatlandtv.com, and you can get a carburetor and an air filter all in one kit. And so I think I'm gonna pop that on there. And then I also wanna get a new pipe. Not only is this one pretty rusted and not in great condition, but I'm gonna get one that's gonna be able to bit more high flow. So I'll be able to get a bit more performance out of this thing. Other than that, in terms of upgrades, it's just gonna be a lot of cleaning. I might get some new brake shoes for inside the drum brakes. It's got drum brakes front and rear, and I think I want to get some new shoes for in there because they're not super great brakes. But other than that, it's just gonna be cleaning. As you can tell, there's a fair bit of rust on this piece, on the inside of the rims, on the exhaust, as I mentioned, on the driver footrest, on the front rims, on the bottom of the forks, on all the metal work here. I picked up this solution at Harbor Freight, which I'm going to be able to use for both cleaning out the gas tank and for the rusty pieces. For the smaller things, I'm going to be able to just put them in a big plastic bin and soak them for a while and then rinse them off. Supposedly that's how this stuff works. It just eats away at the rust. There are a few things though for the body. Obviously there's some rusty pieces and it's not super great, but I'm worried about repainting that because I don't want to lose the Vespa Piaggio logo. I really like that. So unless I can find some decals online, I don't foresee myself painting this thing any soon, just cleaning it up really nice and trying to get rid of much of the rust as possible without damaging the paint. So now that I've shown you the different systems with the bike, I want to hop on it and show you all how it runs and do a quick speed test with both pedal power and with the engine power. In order to get this bike started, you first turn it on, which you do here, by popping that down, and then you have to squeeze the decompression lever. And I showed you all the action before on the head here. So you squeeze this underneath the left brake lever, and what that does is it causes a drop in compression in the engine so it turns over easier. So you want to start pedaling for a few strokes, squeeze the decompression lever, pedal for a few more yards, and then let go of the decompression lever. You have to keep pedaling a few more strokes after you let go, especially if the bike is cold. So I have it running now. I want to show you all how it performs. I'm going to do a couple speed runs, give you guys a max speed on it up and down the beach here. I'll give you some average speed over a quarter of a mile or whatever it is. And then I'll also show you guys how it works with the pedal power. It's not nearly as fast as a normal bike, but it's geared really low, so it's easy to pedal. That's gonna do it for me today, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you liked the video. If you do, make sure you click subscribe, hit that like button. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd be happy to respond. Peace out.